The Texaco Star Theater, starring James Melton, and tonight with Solito de Solis, Al Goodman, the orchestra and chorus, and a special member of the Texaco Star Theater Company, Joan Edwards. And here is James Melton.
The world is mine tonight, and mine each silver star that shines above in the blue. This hour of God's delight, the world is mine, and every flower that blossoms anew. You're mine.
Texaco dealers from coast to coast cordially invite you to another half hour of friendly fun and music in the Texaco Star Theater. And this is John Reed King. Spring is well underway, and so is the threat of warm weather trouble for your car. So drive in promptly for a Texaco dealer spring checkup and changeover. He'll check the condition of lubricants in engine, chassis, and gears. He'll look over the tires, batteries, spark plugs, radiator, all vital spots. You'll get the quality protection of the correct seasonal grade of Texaco lubrication wherever it's needed. Get that Texaco spring changeover now. Delay may mean trouble. And now, back to James Melton.
You're mine, and mine alone. Two lips that speak of love, and two eyes that are bright. So in my heart I know this world divine is mine
Thank you, and good evening, friends. And unless our poet laureate, John Reed King, has a more lyrical way of saying it, welcome once again to the Texaco Star Theater.
Well, it's not about that, Jimmy, but I do have a little poem.
Well, I might have known you had one, John.
Why, thanks, Jimmy. I'll be very glad to read it. James, I was thinking today, day after tomorrow, it's May. Good old April has had her fling, but so what? We still got some spring, so why don't you sing? Why don't you?
Well, you may not be the king of poets yet, John, but just keep that up and you'll get crowned all right. As for why don't I sing Our Waltz by David Rose? Why don't I? Well, all right, so I will.
Watching one day, and our love was their inspiration. Our waltz is springtime, filled with a promise never to fade with the dawn. His moonlight trembling with kisses, each note a heartbeat throbbing with love.
leading lady of the evening is one of the brightest stars in the firmament of songs. And here she comes now, Joan Edwards of your hit parade. A little later on, Joan's going to sing something from a new motion picture score. But right now, well, suppose you tell him about it, Joan.
Well, it's simply this, Jimmy. Since I don't get a chance to sing anything on the air most of the time except the very latest hit songs, I asked if I couldn't sing one of my very own favorites of all time. Well, the answer was certainly. So here I go with the tune I had in mind. One of the really great numbers from Showboat, My Bill. Discover the perfect lover someday. I knew I'd recognize him if ever he came round my way. I always used to fancy then he'd be one of those godlike kind of men, with a giant frame and a noble head, like the heroes born in the books I read. But along came Bill, who's not the type at all. You'd meet him on the street and never notice him. His form and face, his manly grace, he's not the kind that you would find in a statue, and I can't explain. It's surely not his brain that makes me thrill. I love him because he's wonderful, because he's just my Bill. He's an ordinary guy. He hasn't got a thing that I can brag about, and yet to be up on his knee, so comfy and roomy, seems natural to me, and I can't explain. It's surely not his brain that makes me thrill. I love him because I don't know, because he's
Nice work, Joan. Last summer out in Hollywood, we had the pleasure of introducing to the Texaco Star Theater audience an artist who tonight is here from Hollywood to return our visit. So, señores y señores, we're happy to present now the brilliant young Spanish composer and pianist, Solito de Solis.
Thank you, Jimmy. As you know, for some time I have been working on a series of piano pieces, each of which describes musically some city of Spain, its romance, the mood of its people, the tempo of their life. Tonight, with Al Goodman's help, I like to play a portrait I have just finished of the exciting city of Granada.
Vito. It was grand. As our novelty feature tonight, John Reed King introduces his new game called Quote and Misquote. Can I play it with you, John?
Why, sure. First name a famous person.
Well, that's easy. Shakespeare.
Good. Now you quote him and I'll misquote him.
All right, how's this? Double, double, toil and trouble.
Fine. If Shakespeare had owned a car, he would have said, double, double, oil and trouble. For double trouble is what you're asking for if you've still got worn-out winter oil in your crankcase now that warmer weather's here. Quote me another, James.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Car owners, motorists, drivers, lend me your cars for a spring changeover to Haviland, Texaco's premium motor oil. It's 100% distilled by a special Texaco process to remove harmful sludge-forming impurities that cause damage to moving parts, waste of gasoline, and loss of power. Yes, because Haviland is distilled, its tough, clean film really protects your engine and keeps it cleaner, smoother running. Another Shakespeare J.M. quote.
All right, one more. Ah, thy magic doth resist. Wash out, wear out, squeeze out.
Did Shakespeare say that? I'll sue him. I was just going to say that myself about Marfac, Texaco's famous chassis lubricant. Get Marfac when you change over, friends, and top it off with a checkup of battery, tires, spark plugs, gears, and radiator. Remember, many a car will be saved this year only by a complete spring checkup and changeover. Say to yourself, quote, I'll see my Texaco dealer without delay, unquote.
Catherine Beasley wrote a stirring poem for the Saturday Evening Post called Riding High. It was about a cowboy who switched his saddle from a Mustang to one of Uncle Sam's diving, fighting critters of the air. Songwriter John Sacco, who is now Captain Sacco of the Army Air Force, read the verse, went to the piano, and this was the final result.
Thunderbolt sky, and she hums a sweet song of her own. Her hoofs clip the world as she canters up high and heads for her pasture alone. She's a wild little hussy, a maverick filly, and she won't take a spur or a whip. There's a bomb in her saddle, a gun in her bridle, but I'm riding her, taking her up. Barrel roll echelon, wing upon wing, gas her and gun her and dive her on down. She's a carousel critter that's got a brass ring, and she's not letting go till the music runs down. Roam in the heavens or dive in to kill. She's got a brass ring and she's making it tell. Ride a gray horse in a still morning sky, and she hums a tired song coming back. Her hoofs clip the world as she canters in high and heads for the pasture track. She's a wild little hussy, a maverick filly, no brand or corral has she known. Kicked off her saddle and thrown off her bridle, but I'm riding her, taking her home. But I'm riding her, taking her
Joan Edwards is back now to sing from the forthcoming motion picture Ziegfeld Follies, a song that's just called Love.
Love can be a moment's madness. Love can be insane. Love can be a life of sadness and pain. Love can be a summer shower. Love can be the sun. Love can be two hearts that flower as one. It can be fine and free, but it's true, it doesn't always happen to you. Love can be a dying ember. Love can be a flame. Love pledged in September may be dead in December. You may not even remember his name. Oh, love can be a joy forever or an empty name. Love is almost never, ever the same. It can be ecstasy, but that kind is not so very easy to find. Love can be the force for failure. Love can bring you fame. Love fresh as the morning may be wild when it's morning, and then without any warning, it's pain. Oh, love can be a joy forever or a losing game. Love is almost never, ever the same.
The war's desolation has crumbled into ruins many of the historical landmarks and monuments of Europe's past glory. But we can be thankful that the magnificent music of her past, like all things of the spirit, remains immortal. With our honored guest, Solito de Solis, at the piano, I'd like to sing for you now a love song that's based on one of the great melodies of all time, Liebestraum, by the Hungarian composer Franz Liszt.
James Melton will be with you again in just a moment. A simple, accurate new method has been devised for checking brakes on passenger automobiles. Police all over the nation are using this method during the National Brake Checking Drive, now in progress and continuing until June the 1st. This nationwide drive on faulty brakes, sponsored by the International Association of Chiefs of Police and backed by responsible safety and transportation organizations, is being conducted to protect your life and to conserve America's precious stockpile of automobiles, so vital to complete victory. Be ready to cooperate. Have your brakes inspected and repaired if necessary as soon as possible. All right, James?
Thank you, John. Well, friends, the shortest 30 minutes of every week for me, thanks to you, are just about gone again. So let me say we were mighty glad to have you here tonight, and the Texaco Star Theater was mighty glad, too, to have Joan Edwards and Solito de Solis on stage. Next Sunday night, our special guest will be Jenny Sims and the First Piano Quartet, who are now concluding their initial continental tour of America. Until then, this is faithfully yours, Jim Melton, saying good night and see you Sunday.
Texaco dealers from coast to coast invite you to tune in the Texaco Star Theater each Sunday and to drive in any time. Remember, you're welcome. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Tonight, We the People brings you actor John Garfield in vignettes from the movie short It Happened in Springfield, an exciting snatch pickup of an Army glider by a C-47 plane, and interviews with many interesting Army personnel. All this and more awaits you at 10:30. 10 p.m. BULOVA, Bulova Watch Time, WABC, New York.